Hi everybody, this is Shannon, and as you know, we live in Western New York. I think I shared that with you last time, and we're a homeschool family. I have 5 kids, and we are on week 2 of the of New York State's request that all of us basically stay in our homes for the most part, unless we have to go out. And so I thought I would just share another bit of encouraging bright spot of news with you in terms of what is going on around our house. And one of the things that I wanted to do is, with having everybody home even more than we normally are, is I thought we would get some extra craft supplies and things like that. So I am going to show you that craft haul that I got next time. But this time I will show you what I've been doing this week at home. My kids have been helping me a bit too with our craft area. So behind me you can see this kitchen area that I have, and then over to this side over there, you see where those paintings are and the lights are and the windows over there. That is a area that we have sort of set aside as the craft area. Since we homeschool, we always have a lot of different projects and things going on, and I really wanted to see if we could have like an extra table area just for that, because it's really hard when people are in the middle of crafts to then take everything back up when it's time to eat or something and you need to use the table, or even if somebody's using the table for math or writing a paper or something like that. So that's our craft area, but it gets really, really, really well used. And you're going to see now a before shot of the table area and the craft cupboard, and then an after shot. And hopefully you'll see a really big difference, because the before shots are, well, you'll see, they're kind of embarrassing to me, but but they're my real life, and that's what things really got to around here. And then it was fun to just, the process of it wasn't that fun, hours of reorganizing that cupboard, but it was fun to actually be able to see what a change we could do in that cupboard. And I just think one of the things that we could do during this time where we have maybe a little extra time in our hands, or we're home a little bit more, is to, maybe it feels good to go through a closet or something like that, or a cupboard that we've been meaning to get to. And at the end of the whole thing, it feels really good to step back and look at it and see, what we got done in there, and just to feel more organized. It always makes it feel more inviting, even to me and to the kids, to go into that cupboard and get things out and get started on something when you feel like you know where everything is, and it's all neat and organized. So that's my practical encouragement for you today is, one thing, if you haven't thought of some practical things to do, or if you need some other ideas, is just maybe take one little place in your house and organize it. I'm sure we all have things that are on our minds that we've been meaning to get to, and I've got lots more that I probably won't get to for a while. So I'm definitely not fully on top of all this. So anyways, here we go. I'll be showing you now the before and after. So here is the before of, this is my little craft table, craft area. And I have some little plants over there right now that I'm trying to revive. But yeah, there's a little bench here and a couple chairs. And this is where my girls, especially, I have a 8-year-old and a 10-year-old, and you can see this table has really had a problem with so much paint and so much glue and so much everything. They really like to craft. You can see right here is the big jug of school glue where they make all their slime from. Here's a little fishing pole that my daughter just made out of a stick and some other craft stuff. Here's some slime they've got.
And there's a whole stack of different paints and stuff and paintings I've got going on. So, but as you can see, it's in really rough shape. I've got the splattered paint everywhere. And here we're going to go over to my cupboard, which this is my craft cupboard, okay? It's just like one of our kitchen cabinets, but this is really embarrassing, but I'm going to show you anyways. This is how it is deteriorated. We've got tons of stacked poster board and stuff, and there's supposed to be this whole big bin of paints, but there's just stuff that we don't know what to do with. It's just thrown in there. And you know, paints are now in here, and there's markers and there's stuff. What happens is in the beginning of the school year, you know, I homeschool, and in the beginning of the school year, this starts out kind of nice and organized. But right now it is end of March, and we have been doing stuff all year. Look at how bad this is. Oh my goodness. We've been doing stuff all year. I like this cupboard. These things, these drawer things slide out. This is supposed to be like the little caddy of stuff that we have, but it's just a jumble, a lot of random stacked stuff right now, because we used to have all the paints up in here all organized, the paint brushes. This was just a little tray that I made up to store different papers. And down here, you can see there's just levels of just stuff that is not organized and stacked right at all anymore. Beads, lots of bead things. But yeah, by the time spring hits, we've been going all year with school and different things and crafts. And when you have kids that are really into crafts, they use this area a lot. This is just one little corner of my kitchen, where basically we do a lot of our craft stuff. But that's the before. Sorry for the horrible mess it is, and I know we're going to try to clean this up now, and then I will give you the shots of it after. Okay, so see you soon. So here is the after shot of my craft table. It's way different than the before shot. I was amazed that we were able to get it this clean. It's not perfect, but it was, as you can see in the other picture, it had so much built up on it that I did not even know if it was possible to get it looking like the old table we used to have. So I just want to show you with this that how did I get it this clean? Again, I don't know how I did it really, but this is how I practically did it. I took this Pure C cleaner, is what I like to use. I use this on my kitchen countertops, and it's just an all-purpose cleaner. I got it on Amazon. It's green tea and lime, and one of the things I love is I love the scent. It's a really natural smelling cleaner. It's not, it doesn't smell like chemicals and stuff. And it says it's plant-derived, non-toxic, natural. And so you don't need to use this. You can use any general all-purpose cleaner, would probably work fine. But I just sprayed it all down and sort of let that sit on the gunk for a while. And then I took this nice little spatula and I just lightly, I stress the word lightly because you don't want to grind into the wood. I just lightly tried to loosen up the different chunks and stuff. And you know, the paint and the glue, eventually they soften up a little bit and you're able to scrape some of that off and then kind of wipe that down with a paper towel. And then I took, this is a magic eraser pad. This is the generic, but if you've never tried a magic eraser pad, they're really wonderful. They really do seem like they work magic, right? And they're just a spongy really fine-grained pad that almost kind of acts like sandpaper, because when you're rubbing it, it just has this ability to take off things, even like permanent marker. I've gotten permanent marker on here from the kids, and somehow it can take off things that normally it would be really hard to get off. You just have to be a little bit careful, because if you're using this on a glossy surface, if this was a super glossy sheen and I really went at this and pressed really hard, it can sometimes take off some of that sheen. So think of it like an extremely fine sandpaper almost, so you don't want to go crazy with it, or you may affect the wood and the finish on the wood. But this is the craft table. Really happy with how this came out. And I will just show you over here is the craft cupboard. I'm going to do the after shot of that. You can still see my big old jug of glue down there. It's always hard to know what to do with the glue. So we're going to go inside here now and take a look at the inside. There's the top. And here is the bottom. And I'm going to take a couple minutes to just show you kind of what kinds of things I have in here and organized. So up on the top shelf, I've got some large canvases and a large pad of paper and some, like a roll of paper that the kids can do art on. We also have a bin of kind of our nicest paintbrushes, or paintbrushes I just don't want everyone getting into yet. It's like my reserve. And then the second shelf, going down, is going to be things that we don't want kids just getting into on their own. Maybe they need to ask permission. So that's why I kept things way up high. We've got some really nice envelopes that we got for doing some special stamping projects, and some of our nice stamping pads and stamps, some different paints, the new acrylic paints and the other acrylic paints that you'll see in the haul. Some other project paints here, and a big bin of our other acrylic paints. It's messy, but it's a paint bin, so it's fine. And this is a smock. Then this is all of our different papers. We've got paper pads, some excess construction paper and bright papers, and some pads of nice quality. This is like our watercolor painting paper, and I think this is another watercolor painting pad. And then some of our specialty papers. We have lots of different things, like they have patterns on them for the kids to pull out and use, and just some large cardstock. Then down here I've got a few other canvases. I need to get some more because the kids really they even like those little mini ones. You can buy some of those at Dollar Tree just for $1. And back here, balloons, a sewing kit with needles so they're sharp. We don't want everybody getting into that all the time. This is the glitter bin. This bin used to be down below, but I bet you can figure out why I moved it up to the top, because it can be so messy when your 4-year-old just gets into it on their own. And then other things, just extra things like more staples, extra tape, extra glue sticks. You'll see these in my haul. Extra tape back here. Modeling clay that we got, some permanent markers. These are definitely things you don't want everybody getting into every day, right? And some dry erase markers. Then coming down here, in the bottom part of the cabinet, this is where everybody can really easily reach everything. We've got a tray of different papers. Some paper pads are on top, like sketchbooks, just some general all-purpose sketchbooks. And white paper. these are just some scrap papers that have something on one side, but if kids need something to do on the other side, they can use it up. Bright color paper, construction paper. This is my bin of all my paintbrush supplies. These are the general paintbrushes that people have used and used. But we also have, I'll show you, they have their own little stash. Some palettes and watercolors. I love to keep these little Play-Doh containers that were once Play-Doh containers, and now we repurpose them for the water that you dip your brush in when you're painting, so they don't get mom's cups all dirty with paint. And then I like how these drawers pull out. This is a caddy that's got like general like rulers and scissors and pencils and glue sticks. I'll probably put a few more glue sticks down in here. For tape, I always keep this tape dispenser. It looks like it needs a refill over on the craft table so people can figure out where to find the tape. There's some extra little cardstocks back here. My kids love these, those little scratch art things. But things that don't need to be accessed a lot are way back there because they don't get at them a lot. Here's a bin of colored pencils and a bin of markers. And going down here, we decided to do this where each of my younger kids, my two older boys are teenagers and they don't really find a lot of need for getting into the craft cupboard anymore. But if they do want to do some art or something, they know where to find the supplies and stuff. But I made a little bin for Megan, Maria, and Peter, and they each have their own pack of markers and their own pack of paintbrushes. And I think that's really important because I feel like markers and paintbrushes are the #1 things that kids will use and oftentimes ruin because they leave the cap off the marker or they leave the paintbrush with paint on it. And I thought if I give them their own, then they have to take responsibility for that, and they'll know that if they ruin it, then they just ruined their own stuff, right? So the crayon bin, and back here we've got more surplus of colored pencils, and this is a big bin of stickers. There's just tons of different sheets of stickers in there, so if they want to ever get into a project where they need stickers, they just get the whole bin out. Here we've got a big bin of stamps. Some of these are store-bought and some are homemade stamps. Those are always fun to make with like foam, the adhesive foam onto cardboard. It's so fun. You can make so many things, can't you? And then some odds and ends back here, beans and buttons. This is our bin of craft sticks, like popsicle sticks and different wooden things. We have soap in here because at one time we got into soap carving, pipe cleaners, and little pom-poms I just threw into that bin because it had so much extra room. There's some odds and ends in here, sparkly things and feathers and little kinds of stickers and stuff like that. And lastly, at the bottom here, we've got a lot of different beading mostly. This is also things to do like friendship bracelets, all kinds of strings and yarns, and actually most of our yarn we have in a different location, but we even have some little wire for beading, some like jute type string and colorful strings, and then everything else down here is beading. So there's all these bins of beads that sometimes my girls have gotten really into, and even my little guy. And this one I think we got at Walmart. Some of these we picked up at yard sales along the way, just to add to the collection. So this is my aftershock, guys, of my craft cupboard. I'm really excited now to have this all cleaned out. I think that my kids are gonna be really excited to get crafting even more now that they feel like they can find everything and it's not such a discouraging thing just to open it up and find that big mess. So I hope this will encourage you to maybe reorganize something if you want to, especially if you have extra time on your hands right now with everything going on and you just are at home with your kids, and it's just a nice fun thing to do, and it feels really good when it is done.